The sun burned over the vast Ottoman camp where thousands of soldiers stood ready. Red banners adorned with the white crescent fluttered in the wind, some embroidered with golden inscriptions symbolizing the might of the empire. In the center of it all, atop a white stallion, sat the young Sultan Suleiman I. He was only 26, yet his sharp eyes held the weight of an empire. Before him lay Belgrade, a fortress of stone and defiance, its towers rising high over the banks of the Danube. This was no ordinary city. It was the gateway to Hungary, a symbol of resistance against Ottoman expansion for decades. His great-grandfather, Mehmed the Conqueror, had failed to take it. Suleiman would not. When Suleiman ascended the throne in 1520, his primary goal was to expand the Ottoman Empire's borders. His advisors initially debated whether to strike at Rhodes, a stronghold of the Knights of St. John, or push north into Central Europe. However, the political situation in Hungary presented a unique opportunity. Hungary, led by the young and inexperienced King Louis II, was deeply divided. The Hungarian nobility was at odds, and unlike previous decades, no major European power was prepared to defend the kingdom. The Habsburg Empire, which ruled Austria, Spain, and the Holy Roman Empire, was Hungary's most natural ally against the Ottomans. However, Emperor Charles V was preoccupied with wars against France and Protestant uprisings in Germany. Meanwhile, Belgrade, Hungary's most important border fortress, stood isolated. By early 1521, it became clear that an attack on Belgrade would open the road to Hungary and, eventually, Vienna. Suleiman made his decision. The first great campaign of his reign would be against the city that had once defied his ancestors. The first cannon blast echoed through the valley, shaking the earth as it crashed against the fortress walls. Ottoman janissaries, the empire's elite soldiers, stood in disciplined rows, waiting for their moment. From the ramparts, Hungarian defenders rained down arrows and fire, their desperate cries lost in the chaos of war. Suleiman, clad in finely crafted armor with embroidered silk draping over it, rode among his men. For weeks, the siege dragged on. The Ottomans built wooden rafts to control the rivers, cutting off supply routes. The defenders, exhausted and starving, fought with dwindling hope. Each night, Suleiman stood in his tent, studying maps, whispering prayers, and planning the next move. At dawn on August 29th, 1521, the great attack began. Cannon fire shook the sky as the Ottoman forces stormed the breached walls. Janissaries climbed ladders, swords flashing, pushing through the narrow passages of the crumbling city. The Hungarians fought bravely but were overwhelmed. From a distant hill, Suleiman watched as the Ottoman banners rose over Belgrade's towers. Victory, his first true conquest. The fall of Belgrade sent shockwaves through Europe. Hungary, already unstable, now stood dangerously exposed. Pope Leo X called for a Christian alliance, but no army arrived. King Louis II of Hungary, realizing the Ottoman threat was far greater than anticipated, scrambled to fortify his defenses. But Suleiman was not finished. With Belgrade secured, the road into Hungary was open. For now, he stood atop the walls of Belgrade, gazing westward. His reign had begun not just with a victory, but with the opening of a new era of Ottoman dominance.